Hi, welcome. Welcome to our Saturday transmission, which we are attempting to do in English every week. A lot of people ask what the reason of the existence of the institution is, what we do, the reason why we have these live transmissions, and the reason why we do the rest of the week in Spanish, and then one of the days of the week we do it in English. What we're trying to do is reach as many people as we can. We are aware that most of the audience speaks Spanish, but we're trying to get to as many people as we can. We have been working for quite some time in this institution in order to find answers, because we believe that human beings have and deserve the right to be happy. It is a work that we have to do every day because it's a process, and we have observed that a lot of people continue during their whole life trying to find those answers that they need in order to find, I don't know, harmony, peace, happiness. And although it seems very idealistic to say that you can achieve it, we are pretty sure that it's a possibility because we have been working on those answers for quite some time. We discovered that the most important process in order to get there is to know your own self, because we have been observing that most people are trying to find such answers by looking in the outside, trying to find goals and trying to find things in order to fill this void, this need, through things that are on the outside and not in the inside. So by experiencing, observing, learning, we have noticed that the most important thing in order to get to this main goal in life is to become more observant of your own self. And we work here, and we have been working for a lot of years. This association was born around 1987, and what we share here is something that has been researched and experienced for quite some time now. I arrived to this place around 1992, and I was much younger then, and I found a lot of answers that I had been searching for my whole life. That is the reason why we have worked so hard for a long time in order to get to this point in which now we are able to share with as many people as we can all the information that we have been gathering and understanding in many different ways. What we have come to understand is that the first thing that human beings need to learn and that they need to start observing and answering is the reason why they are here. And especially last week we were saying that we become copy of another copy of another copy, by meaning that you learn to be as everyone around you, and you have your information that you inherit from your parents. And if you think about it, everything that you inherit from your parents, genetically speaking, is not only coming from them, it's coming from all those generations that are behind them, way past the time in which they were born. So if you think about it, imagine the genetic pool that conforms you, the genetic pool that makes you who you are, all the ideas and the ideals and all the information that conforms every one of the human beings that were born and had a life and had experiences before you. So it's a long way if you look back. A lot of the people take into consideration looking at their family trees, and they learn a lot about the families from which they come. Like, for example, if you think about it, in the United States, most of the families came from countries in Europe, and they came to America, and they became Americans by populating the land, but they had a lot of ways that came from different countries, and now they get together and they decide and try to have their own ways. But everything that you know, your beliefs, everything that makes you, came from somewhere else and from someone else. And not only talking about parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents, also your uncles, brothers, sisters, everyone who is involved in your family tree, which can go all the way in so many different directions, that conforms you. And so sometimes you don't even understand the reason why you act the way you act, you feel the way you feel, you believe the things you believe, and you do the things you do, because you have no idea where all those things came from. A lot of those habits, customs, traditions, a lot of those things that you are used to doing come from somewhere else or from someone else. And since you have no idea where it comes from in many different ways, you have a way of being, a way of acting, a way of interacting with others, which you sometimes don't even understand. So that is the thing, the most important thing that we have to come to understand in this moment. There are a lot of people who are going through very important processes, anxiety, depression, a lot of disorders, emotional disorders that affect most of the people, because they don't know where that information and the way of being comes from. So what happens is they want to change and they have no way of doing it because they don't get to understand themselves. Even if you go through a psychological process, sometimes the only thing that you do is take a look at all your I don't know, for example, your family mistakes, your parents' mistakes, and you get in touch with the resentment that is inside you, but you still cannot understand why you feel the way you feel. So what we're trying to do is go beyond that, go farther, and understand that even from a genetic point of view, every cell that conforms you has imprinted information that you are not even aware of. So that is the reason why sometimes we have certain ways which we don't even understand, but they make us move the way we move. So in order to be able to change all those things and all those ways and all those reactions that make me who I am and hurt me and make me not be as happy as I could be or as I wish I was, in that way I need to understand myself, start learning that what I do has a way of being because someone else gave it to me. And which is not bad, because we choose our parents and we choose our family for a reason. Everyone who crosses our path takes us in an experimentation process and a learning process. So as we always say, nothing happens because it happens just because. So it doesn't happen in a random way. There are no anything that are not just by luck. It is not because of the destiny. Everything that happens around you happens for a specific reason. So everyone who crosses your path is there for a specific reason. So what we're trying to do is help you start understanding that everything that is in your life has a reason to be there. But start taking your life in a different way and start observing your life in a different way with different, let's say, in a different view. Yesterday, I was giving an example in which I was saying that it's like imagining that you're in a movie and you have to change the camera and take it from a different point of view in a different direction. And that's going to help you do it in a very different way. So what we're trying to do now is help you see that the thing that you have to do the most is become more aware of your actions to understand where they come from. Who taught you that? Who gave you that idea? Why do you do it that way? Does it help? Doesn't it help? Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Does it help you with your interaction? Does it help you be happy? Is it something that you can do? Is it something that you shouldn't do? So the main parameter to understand if I'm doing it right or not is to consider that when I use universal principles and values, then I will understand if what I'm doing is correct or not. And it doesn't mean that whatever my family taught me was wrong, but sometimes they become our teachers by doing things that we don't like. So even if I, in the observation, discover that there are things that you do that I don't like, and if you are my dad or my mom or my grandparent, if I don't like the things you do, you are still doing something good for me because you are being my teacher. By observing you, I am learning the things that I don't want in my life, the things that I don't want to do. If you are aggressive, if you are violent, if you are in a way that I don't like the way you treat other people, if you are controlling and take actions that I don't like. So I have the opportunity to look at you, observe you, and then decide whether I like what you do or not, but not in a critical way, in a learning process. Understanding that whatever you do helps me and helps me do it in a different way and in a better way. So I want to say hi to the people who are watching our video, and I really appreciate that you come and you connect with us. Let's see. Guillermo Limon. Guillermo, hello. Hi, Fatima. Thank you for my coffee. I'm drinking it right now. Fatima brought me coffee. I love you too. Carlos Covarrubias. Okay, we'll see you on Monday. And who's there? Edgar Leiva. Thank you. Edgar is helping me today do the transmission. He's very nice. Leticia Insunza, that's my mom. And she's watching me. She's like my biggest fan. She always watches. Maria Estela Hernandez. Maria Estela, I have your cup. You didn't come get it. And well, thank you very much, everyone who is watching us. I invite you to share the transmission and help us get to as many people as we can. So you can also get in touch and watch us on YouTube live or on our official website www.uncoa.com, or if you're watching our Facebook live, you can watch us in our fan page. And we also have a WhatsApp number where you can send questions, and we'll do our best to answer any question you may have. You can send the questions any time of the day, and as soon as we check out your question, we'll get in touch with you. We'll send you a voice note or a written answer, or if it comes in during the live transmission, we'll answer it during the live transmission, and we'll do our best in order to answer that question. We have the number you can get in touch with us is 3320554690. And in a moment, I'm gonna see if we can put it on the screen. El número de WhatsApp. And then if you're watching us from somewhere else, you can add +52, which is the code, the country code, +52, and then 13320554690. And if you're watching on our website, there is a really cute thing, because there is like a bubble, like a dialog bubble on the right corner, on the left corner, inferior left corner. If you click that one, you can send directly the message to the WhatsApp number or to the Facebook Messenger. So anyway, so what we're trying to tell you is that you have to understand yourself and learn how you work and learn how you think and learn why you do the things you do, where it comes from, how you learned it, why did you decide to be that way, in order to change your life. If you're looking for a change, if you're happy the way you are, well, continue on that path and doing things that are good for you. Basically, what we believe is that this in this time, most people are not working and functioning through universal principles and values. And what we mean by that is, what kind of principles or values do we have to use in order to have a better life? Well, they are the basic principles of freedom: love, happiness, intelligence, understanding, comprehension, discipline, all those things, excellence, all those things that make you a better person. Little by little, we're gonna start explaining what we mean, what we're trying to explain when we talk about those principles and values, which are the main teaching that we use here in our institution. So basically, what we're trying to do is help you look at life from a different point of view. Start understanding that everything that you have been doing the way that you had been doing it is not working for you. Understanding that everything in life has it's built and it's made and it has a consequence for you. So starting to change and observing everything you do and learning that everything you do comes from somewhere, and that changing that is going to help you have different results in your life. So that's exactly the thing that we have discovered that we need to do. And it sounds very basic, but we also discovered that since the thing that moves us the most is the instinctive mind and the genetic mind, we have a very hard time trying to do those changes. So the first thing is that when you decide that you want to make a change to be better or to have a better life or to live, I don't know, in a peaceful state of mind, the hard part is that you decide to make the changes, but you don't get to the changes. The thing is that you don't have a real commitment into changing. So it's kind of like when you go on a diet and you decide that you're going to go on a diet and you're going to follow this menu, but little by little you start eating other things that you're not supposed to eat because of, I don't know, because you feel like eating it, because it's tempting. So that's exactly the same thing that happens in your life. You decide to make a change, but in the everyday, you start giving yourself or allowing yourself to leave the path, to do things differently than what you were thinking or hoping you would do. So the moment you start doing things in a different way than you were planning, then what happens is that you never get to the main goal, exactly as going on a diet. Or for example, if you're trying to exercise, I'm just trying to give you simple examples. If you're trying to exercise and then what happens is that you decide that every day you're going to do a certain routine, but then one day you give yourself license not to go. And then 2 days, well, today is raining, or today is too sunny, or today it's too late, I'm not gonna have time. Little by little you start getting out of the program that you yourself designed for you. Or maybe you went to a training person and decided that you were going to follow that program. But what happens is that you start following your instinct and your genetic mind because you start getting a little lazy, feeling like you don't want to do it. And where does that come from? It becomes from the animal you who wants to just lay around, eat, and don't do anything. And it sounds bad when I talk about our animal part, but it's true. We are part of the animal group. We are not rocks, we are not minerals, we are not plants, we are not trees. So what are we? We are animals. And our animalistic part doesn't want to do anything. That part just want to follow instinct, and that part only wants to lay around and eat whatever they desire, not thinking. So that's the thing that we have to control. Start working with our intelligent part. But we never get to that because let's imagine that we have layers and we never surpass the layer of the instinctive mind and the layer of the genetic mind and never get to the next part. There are 6 levels and we never go beyond the first 2. Why? Because it's too hard. I don't want to do it. It's easier just to be here. Do everything that is just instinctive. Eat, fight, I don't know, be selfish, don't do anything. Just follow the needs of the body. And then next step, you go to the genetic mind, which is your personality. That tells you that you can do whatever you want according to whatever your parents taught you. And I'm not saying that your parents did a bad job. I'm just saying that they did whatever their parents told them, and their parents did whatever their parents told them, and so forth. So if you come from a family that is very racist, you're probably racist because that's what they taught you. Unless you were smart enough to become a person who was observant and then learned. This is not something that is right. It feels bad, it looks bad, it hurts people. Then by observing, then you learn not to repeat the same pattern. That is the hardest part. Understanding that the genetic you can't control, but you can modify. How? By becoming intelligent, by observing and finding a way to do it differently. That is the reason why you were put with those people that are around you, exactly for that reason, in order to learn what is good and what is bad. Let's put it in those terms, easier terms. Everybody understands good and bad. So how can I make the difference between one and the other? Thinking, is this correct? Is this going to hurt people? Is this good for me? Is this good for them? But not thinking selfishly, thinking more in terms of love, service, helping everyone. Everyone is going to question whether they should help others or not because they say that they are going to be taken advantage of. But the truth is that you are here in order to help others. Whoever crosses your path is there for a specific reason. If you don't help them, it's your prerogative to do it or not to do it. But the thing is, it was your opportunity. Whoever crosses your path and asks for your help is your opportunity. If you let it go by, then it's your loss. Not their loss. Someone else is going to help them, not you. You're the one who's going to lose the opportunity. So if we are acting according to whatever they told us in our houses, because we don't have the ability to question whether that's good or bad, then what's going to happen? That everyone is going to continue to repeat the same patterns that don't work anymore. How do we know that they don't work anymore? Because if we are a little observant, we will look into this world and we will see that everyone is working only for their own well-being, for their own benefit. So if everyone works for their own well-being and nobody cares about the rest of the people, what's going to happen? That is the reason why we have so many problems, and that is the reason why the planet is in real danger, is at risk. Because nobody cares about anyone else or anything else. Everyone just cares about their own self. And that's the invitation to start becoming a different you. A you that understands the reason why they do things. Why? When? How? Who taught me this? Who said this was right? Why do I have to act this way? Do I have to believe the things that I believe in or not? Are they right or not? It is okay to question whatever they told you, because it is important to have your own opinion and then understand that your own ideas have to come from somewhere else. But that somewhere has to be the loving part of you, the intelligent, the light, that part of you that has the real answers, not whatever you watched on TV or learned from whoever was around you. And I'm not saying that the people who are around you did a bad job. I just want you to understand the reason why. If you, for example, learned something from your parents and you in the observation noticed that the results were right, that what they were doing was nice, that it was good for the rest of the people and for themselves, then that's probably something that you decide to take and make it your own. There were a lot of things that my parents did that I was always observing them, and I decided it was something that I wanted in my life. Through observation, I learned. The same way that there were things they did that I didn't like, and I decided that I didn't want to do the same way. And that's not bad. And it doesn't mean that I'm angry at them or resented. I'm just saying I learned because I was observing what they were doing. And then in my case, I had to leave my house and I had to go study somewhere else when I was 16. And I had to be placed with a different family. And that was another opportunity to learn good things, the things that were good for me. Because I was living with a family who was very organized, with a lady who was very disciplined, very loving, very helpful with other people. So I learned more things with her and I really liked her. And then I decided that she was my opportunity to become a better person. The same way that during that experience in a different country with different people, I learned that there were things that I didn't like from other people, and that was my opportunity to start being the person that I would want to become someday. And so on. That is a way we start. Imagine that you are made of clay, and little by little you start giving it a certain shape. Sometimes when you are young, when you are a child, you suffer certain things, certain experiences that hurt you and make you be the way you are. But the thing is, are you gonna stay there in that place where you feel hurt, sad, resented, or are you gonna take all those experiences that you lived and then become a different you, a different person? You have the option. You always have the option to decide. Do I have to stay here hurting because everything was bad when I was younger, when I was little, or when I was an adolescent, when I was a teenager, or when I was a young adult? If bad things happen to you, you always have the opportunity to look back, take those experiences and become a different you, a better you, a smarter you, an intelligent you, a loving you. And that is the invitation, the constant invitation that we are always making. Start learning about yourself, knowing yourself. That is the reason why the name of the courses that we teach are exactly that, the knowledge of oneself. We don't want you to learn about other people. You will learn because you will become more observant, and by observing others you become better because you learned from them, not as criticizing them, but as observing to learn, to take whatever is good and repeat whatever you think is good, and do not repeat whatever you think is bad. So that is how we start changing little by little. But the most important thing is to have a real commitment with yourself, with oneself, in order to decide, if I want to make the real change, what am I going to do in order to get there? I'm going from point A to point B, or to point C, or to point D. What am I going to do? What are the actions I'm going to take in order to get there? Because sitting at home and just thinking I want to be better is not going to get me there. I need to have a good intention. I need to have good ideas. I have to dream. I have to imagine. I have to want better things. But I also have to take action. And in order to take action, I have to start doing things to get there. It's exactly the same that happens. Imagine, for example, when an architect, then that's an example that I probably gave you before, but when an architect wants to build something, first they have to dream about it. First they have to imagine, and then they have to plan what they want to do, how they want to do it. They have to find what the budget is, where the place where they will build it will be, what kind of materials they're going to need, how much time they're going to need. There are a lot of things that an architect and an engineer have to take into consideration in order to build a building, a house, a hospital, any place. So that is the same thing that you have to do with your life. You have to look at it, you have to dream, imagine, and then decide what are the actions I'm going to take in order to get from this point to the point where I want to be. And sometimes you will say, I don't want to think about point B or C or D, I just want to stay in point A. But the thing is, you are not a rock, you are not a tree. You have the opportunity to move. And if you start understanding that everything in the universe is constant change and constant movement, and that is the only thing that is permanent, change and movement, then you will understand that a lot of the suffering that people have is because they do not want to move. They do not want to change. Sometimes you are in an environment in which you are hurting, but the fear of moving keeps you there, trapped, suffering, in a bad condition, when you have everything you need in order to do it differently, in order to find the answers that you need, and in order to feel very differently. So that is the reason why we are in the constant movement in order to help others do the same. Imagine if planets stay static. Imagine if stars stay static. They for some time stay in a place, and then they start changing, moving, extinguishing, becoming dust, whatever. So nobody stays permanent. Everything is constant change. So that is the reason why sometimes we feel so bad, because we have a very real fear of moving in order to find what makes us tick, what makes us be the way we are. And a lot of people don't want to get into that, go into themselves, because they are afraid of what they might find. The thing is, when you look at yourself and when you start learning about your own self, you shouldn't be afraid, because the only thing that is going to happen is that you're going to learn so much about you that you're going to understand better the way you are, and then you're going to have a real opportunity to become a better person. Don't be afraid to get in touch with your own self, because the real you is waiting there for you to get in touch. And you know what it is? I'm not talking about the instinctive you or about the genetic you. I'm talking about the real you. The real you is love, light, is understanding, is patience, tolerance, intelligence, all the good things in you. That's the real you. But what happens is, let's imagine that everything that you have around you, that are all these mental states, mental files that conform you because you were built through these genetic files. You were built through these experiences, negative experiences that start accumulating around you, and let's imagine that they are like clouds. So what happens is that the real you, the loving you, the good part of you is just there waiting in order for you to get in touch with it, and you can't do it because you have these clouds that do not let you get there. So what's going to happen as soon as you start loving yourself, becoming tender and patient, you're going to have the opportunity to feel different. You're going to have the opportunity to feel better. You're going to get in touch. Whenever, if you are in doubt, whenever you are trying to make a decision, that part of you that is always trying to help, that isn't selfish, that says, yes, let's do it, that's the real you. The part that says, no, don't give him anything, he has to work for it, and it's yours, and you worked for it so hard, don't share, that's not the real you. That's the instinctive you, which is selfish. That is the genetic you, which learned to be like that, not to share. The real you is different. It's pure. It's light. It's always wanting to help. And I'm going to say hello to the people who are watching. I have Maria Estela, Rebecca Barajas, Gabriela Araque, all the way to Venezuela, hello, and Eduardo Borda, hi Borda. Thank you for being with me and watching. So anyway, what we're trying to do through this information is help you see that there are many ways to feel better, to be different, and to do things in a different way, especially understanding that it takes time, it takes a process in order to be better. But the good news is that as soon as you make a commitment with yourself, then it's going to be easier for you to be that way. It's going to be easier for you to feel that way, because what you need is a real change. You need to decide, to make a decision in order to do things differently. So far, many times you have intended to do it, but you never get to the goal, because usually what we do is that during the process we think or we feel that it's difficult and we don't want to do it anymore. So what you need to do is to stick to a plan. Imagine, if we always say that you are the architect of your life, stick to a plan, make a real program, a protocol, and decide how to get there. The first thing you have to do is to start being different, observing your own self, and taking criticism into consideration in a different way. If someone criticizes you, that's an opportunity to learn something about yourself. It's not an opportunity to feel resented or to feel bad. It's an opportunity to understand things in a different way. Maybe what they are saying is true. It doesn't mean that you're gonna hurt. It doesn't mean that you're going to fall and feel sad because they said that you are selfish or because they said that you do things in a wrong way. What you do is take that information and observe your actions. If they are saying that I'm selfish, might that be true? I don't know. I'm going to think about it. Am I doing things that are selfish? Am I sharing? Am I helping? And am I doing things for others? Because sometimes we are very resentful when people make comments about ourselves, and what we do is we talk back. We feel bad. We get angry. We even feel wrath. We want to take revenge. If there's something about ourselves, then what we do is talk about the others. The thing is, when we hear information in that way, we have to take it and start learning about it. Decide whether what they are saying might be true or not. Why? In order to learn. If your children are saying you are too aggressive, you treat us badly, the answer shouldn't be, well, that's the way I am. The answer should be, I'm going to take a look at myself. Maybe my actions are not the right actions. So that represents an opportunity. Everything around you, everything everyone says to you is not something that you have to take in order to become resentful. It's an opportunity to learn to be better. Everything that happens around you, bad experiences, good experiences, bad comments, good comments, everything you have to take. And sometimes in psychology they say that you shouldn't listen and that you have to have a good self-esteem just by not listening to others. But the thing is that you need to learn that whatever they say is important for you because you can learn to be a better person. Open your mind and look at it differently. Oh, I have a hello from San Diego, California, from David Leon. Hi, David. Thank you for saying hello. Share our video with as many people as you can. So anyway, what we're trying to do is little by little give you information that is going to help you look at yourself in a different way. Make yourself better. Why? In order to be a better person, but especially because we want you to be happier. And how do we know it's real? Because we have experienced that for quite some time. We have been working hard on ourselves and we are not there yet. We know it's a process. We know it's not easy, but we know that if you have the will, there will be a way. Always, when you're trying to get somewhere, what you have and what you need is the desire, but especially the decision. So think about it. First, you imagine things. First, you dream about them, but then you have to take action. The first part, always, of the idea is the intention. That's the first part. First, you have an intention, but a lot of people think that just having the nice thought or the nice intention is going to do the trick. You need to go beyond that. Okay, now I want to lose weight. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to have all these steps in order to lose weight. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to visit a doctor. I'm going to exercise 3 times a week, etc., etc., etc. But I know a lot of people, and I give you that example because it's the most common thing that I hear people say. I'm trying to lose weight for a year and I haven't been able to do it. What are you doing to lose weight? Well, I start drinking Coke 2 times a week. Or I stop doing these 2 times a week. What you have to do is have a real plan in order to get there. The same thing with a lot of things. I talk to people and say, I'm trying to finish my studies. What are you doing? Well, I don't know. Maybe someday. Well, I don't know. I'm going to start next week. Well, I don't know. I remember when I was going to school, we started about 50 of us. And at the end, I was the only one who finished the career that I was learning. Why? Because people always drop out because they have a difficult time staying on target, staying on course, staying along the process, because it becomes hard. And for us, thinking about something that is difficult is something that makes us, even before we continue, even before we start, we think that we are not going to be able to make it. Making effort is not something bad. Making an effort, working hard, is not something that should keep us from getting to our dreams or our goals. Making an effort and working hard should be something that for us should have a totally different meaning. When you have the possibility to work hard in order to get to your goals and to your objectives, then you are in a privileged position, because a lot of people think about it. They might even lack parts of their body or certain capacities, and they even try to get there. So if you are in the complete possibility to get to your objectives, shouldn't be afraid of working hard, shouldn't be afraid of getting tired, shouldn't be afraid of having a hard time in order to get to a better place. But the thing is, we are afraid. We don't want to get there. We don't want to work hard. We don't want to make the effort. We don't want to go the extra mile because it's very hard for us. And it's something that we learned since we are small. Do not make a do not force yourself. Do not work hard. You're gonna get tired. Give it to him. Don't make him do that by himself. He's gonna get tired. Poor thing. So what happens is that even when they are little, we're trying to solve every problem for our kids because we don't want them to be tired. We don't want them to feel bad. Everything happens for a reason. If you feel bad, if you feel tired, you work hard, you're gonna get there. It's going to be something that is going to be so rewarding. So if you make all those efforts in order to go to a university, go to a school, learn a career, learn a job, do different things, why wouldn't you be able to do it? Or why wouldn't you be willing to do it in order to change your own life? Maybe you have already tried working, having a better job, having a better house, having a better car, and you still feel empty. And you still feel unhappy. So then what's missing? The part that is missing, the piece that is missing from the puzzle, is the happiness that is within you. Stop looking in the outside. You are looking in the wrong place. You are looking for the key in the wrong place. The key to happiness, to peace, to everything that you want to find, to fulfillment, to well-being, is inside of yourself. So what you need to do is make a real commitment. You cannot do it if you're thinking just a few things. If you're saying, I'm going to change a few things from myself. I'm just not going to be as violent, or I'm not going to be as resented, but I'm still going to be selfish. It doesn't work that way. You have to make a real commitment to wipe out everything you don't need. That is the reason why I always give you the example. It's like going outside and just taking some of the trash out and leaving some of the trash in. You don't need that. Doesn't work. Doesn't help. So the main thing here is, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to help your life be better? And that is the invitation that I'm making, so you can get to a better place. Why am I telling you this? Because I do know that it's possible. Because I also went through a lot of hard things when I was little, when I was a teenager, when I was a young adult. There were a lot of difficulties, but I never gave up. And so I know that if I made it and I continue working on it, because I'm not there yet, I know that you can do it too. The only thing that we need is the will to get there. And that is the process of life. You have to enjoy the ride. Not look at happiness as something, as an objective or a goal or a place where you're going to get it, just going to stay there. Life is that way, working through it, trying to find, and you're gonna have a lot more happy moments little by little as you start your process and your change in this journey in order to get to a better you. So that is my invitation. That is my invitation for you. Come and get on this boat and start this journey that is going to help you have a better life, because it's real. You can get there. How? By having a disposition, a commitment, making a real decision in order to change, to look at things differently, but especially and most importantly, to understand that everyone deserves to be loved by you. Everyone deserves to be understood by you. If you start looking at life that way, and then if you start thinking about anyone around you as someone important, as someone deserving, as someone who deserves anything that you can give them, your time, your love, your patience, your tenderness, anyone, and I mean anyone, then the one who wins, the one that it will be rewarded, will be you. Because then you have the possibility to look at your life as a garden of roses. What we're doing is looking at the thorn everywhere we go. But now you have the option, and you have the possibility to look at your life as a beautiful, huge garden of flowers. Because anyone, even the most horrible person, represents an opportunity for you to learn something important. Even the one that you don't like, that does things that you despise, that's the one who's going to teach you the most. Do not get away from that one. Observe him and learn, because he is your opportunity. Now, this is the invitation. It's the moment to change. It's the moment to do things differently, to change and to open that part of you that has been shut. Open that part in order to find the key. The key to what? The key to happiness, the key to love, the key to light, the light that is inside you, the key to everything that is good in you and that you haven't given yourself a chance to find. And so these are the things that we're going to start understanding differently through this work that we're going to do together every Saturday. If little by little we find the need to do it more days of the week in English, then we will. Right now we're just doing it on Saturdays because we know that our main audience speaks Spanish, but we don't want to leave anyone out. We want to do it for as many people as we can. And so that is what I want to share with you every Saturday of every week. We have a saying here, and we have several sayings, but one of our sayings, most precious sayings, is, how can I be of service? And that is the question that I'm going to place for you every time. How can I be of service? Because that is the main goal for me. Whenever anyone crosses my path, I want them to know that I am here to serve, and not in a negative way, not in a way that I feel inferior, because serving others makes me feel so much better, stronger, and happier. And we also have a greeting that we use all the time, that we say, have a good life. We always say have a good life because we don't want you to only have a good morning or a good evening or a good night. We want you to have a completely better life all the time. And that's a wish that we send you from the bottom of our heart. So whenever you say to someone else, have a good life, you are not saying goodbye definitely. You are saying how much you hope for them to have as good a life as possible. So that is my wish for you. And I hope you connect with us next week. I hope you share our video, and I hope you get in touch with us as soon as you have any questions. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing, and thank you because you give yourself the possibility to have a better life. Really, we want you to have an extraordinary life. Extraordinary meaning extra loving, extra understanding, extra peaceful, extra sharing with others. Never being selfish, never being only you, always knowing that anyone who crosses your path is there for a reason. Thank you for being here with me, and have a good life.